Hello and welcome to Life Changing Tuition's Summer School 8. I'm Ethan and today we'll be going through an explanation of how to solve each question. So let's begin with spatial reasoning, hidden shapes. Okay, so this basically means that you're looking for the shape here on the left inside one of our options, so A, B, C, D or E. So we can see that it's like an S shape that's been rotated with an arrow at the bottom. So how we can do this is by looking for a key feature, and this can be the arrowhead. So we can see that there are arrowheads in each of our options, so now what we have to look for is something that is the exact same size and it's the exact same shape, so same size, same angles, so it needs to be like an S shape that's rotated exactly like in question 1. So what we can see here is that in A, for example, we'll be looking for the shorter side here, but then that isn't the case for either of these arrowheads, so we can cross it out. And then we can look at B. So B, well, we can see that is the same size as well as there, which is perpendicular, and there. So it could be B. It can't be C because it's a different size, as well as D because it's much smaller. It's on a smaller scale. And then E. Well, E, you're looking there. Or you could do this, but then that's just the wrong size, which leaves us with our answer as B. So the answer to question 1 is B. Okay, so now we're applying the same thing. Now, with question 2, we need to know that our shape could be rotated. So, for example, in A, there's this shape here, which is like our shape on the left. But then there's also like B, for example. B could be the rotated version, or it could be the exact same. However, it can't be B because there isn't any, because there's no line here. If there was a line here, then it would be, but we can see that it's just joined together, so it's not B. And then C, well, there isn't any L shape present here, so no. And that's the same with D and also E. But you can see here they might add a line there to try and, make you think something else. So we could cross that out. And then that leaves us with A as our answer. So question 1 was B and question 2 is A. Next, we are looking at question 3. So question 3 is, okay, so it's also an L shape, but with a thicker side here and then a thinner side at the bottom. So it could be rotated, like here in A, that looks like a rotated version, not B, not C, not D, and not E. So it's simply the process of looking through each shape, seeing if there's a rotated version of what we have as our shape on the left. But that means that our answer will be A. Okay, I'll go back to that. So, question 4. Here we have a square with 4 lines on the outside. So, a square with 4 lines on the outside. So, with this, you can see that the shape could be hidden within another shape, and that's what it appears to be in A. However, the line at the top and the bottom are curved, and the lines on the side are straight, so it's not A. And then B, well, B is another example of this very hidden shape, and it could be B because the black is overlapping. It's not C, and it's not D because of the size, and neither is it E. So our answer will be B. It's the square with the 4 sides sticking out, and then there's a black area in the middle. Okay, next we have question 5. So here you can see that there is the white triangle and then the black triangle, and then you have 2 lines at the top and bottom. So question 5, here we can see question A is very similar, however the white triangle does not overlap enough. That's the same with B, E, E because this line here is not long enough, D as well because of it's not D because of the size of the white triangle, but then E is a rotated version, so it's been rotated 90 degrees clockwise here, so the answer will be E. Okay, next we are going to be looking at question 6. So here we have a white circle with a black dot, and we just have to simply go through each shape. So the black dot in A is not in that position for any white circle, which means that for 6 we can cross out A. That's the same for B, C, D. Now here you can see that with D there is that's the case there, but then it's also in E. However, with E, the shape is slightly bigger, which means that we would cross it out, and the answer is D. Okay, next is question 7. So there is a square with a circle inside and a black circle in the middle. Now remember, it can be rotated. So we're looking for a shape with a square. So we can cross out C, D, and E, which leaves us with either... Oh, in fact, I've seen this incorrectly. That's not the test shape. No. So, just cross this out. No, our test shape is this. It's the circle with the black circle in the middle. So we're looking for the same size, which means we can cross out A, C, we can cross out D and E. And that leaves us with the answer for question 7, which is B. Okay, so next, let's move on to question 8. So, question 8. You can see we have an oval with a diagonal line at the bottom. So that means that it could be rotated. And fairly simply, we can see that A is going to be A because it's been rotated 180 degrees to become this. So we can cross out B, C, D, and E, and our answer is A. Okay, next is question 9. So question 9, we have the S shape with a right angle triangle at the top. So with A, at first this could appear to be like a rotated version. However, the orientation of the right angle triangle means that it's not the case, because the right angle triangle would have to be on the other side. It would have to be up here for it to be our answer. And then option B, the right angle triangle is just the incorrect size. C, it is C will be our answer, but let's just check the others. So D, the right angle triangle, is incorrect, and that is the same for with E. The problem is that the size of our lines, the length of our lines, is incorrect. So we can cross out E, and then our answer will be C. Okay, so question 10, we have a circle with a triangle surrounding a black triangle. So we can cross out A. However, with B, we can see what the exam will frequently do. It's where they'll then put a black shape on the outside to appear that there's almost not a white circle there, but that's where you have to think very abstractly, And that means that our answer will be B, because it's the same shape, but it's just been surrounded by the square. So, 11. We have a triangle that is overlapping a circle, or they're all like overlapping each other, and then there is a triangle and another circle. So here you can see what a frequent thing that will also be done. It's where other similar shapes are put around our shape on the left. So we know it can't be A because the two triangles are in the wrong position. And then it also can't be B. With C, we can see that the answer, it will be C because our triangle is here, circle, triangle, circle. And you need to make sure that they're in the exact same place. So it's not D and it isn't E because this triangle is overlapping the circle rather than being see-through. So the answer is C. Then we have question 12, which is 4 circles all together. And that means that, well, it's not going to be A because these circles are on different levels. It's not B, not C. It could be D and it could be E. So, between D and E, how we're going to find our answer is by looking at the overlapping. So we need to make sure that the shapes are overlapping in the same way. So what we can see in our shape on the left is that this circle actually covers the circle in the top left, which means that our answer is not going to be D because this circle is see-through. So we can cross out D and that leaves our answer as E, where it's the exact same shape. Okay, 13. So 13, we have a vertical arrow, and then we have a S-shaped arrow, and then we have a horizontal arrow. So we're simply doing the same thing, trying to find the exact same shape. So first what we're going to do is we're going to look for the vertical arrow and see if there is an S-shaped arrow and a horizontal arrow that fits it. So with 13, we can see that there is a vertical arrow here, but then there isn't an S-shaped arrow. However, what we can also remember is that the shape can be rotated. So we can look from the perspective of another arrow. So with this one, it could be that the vertical arrow is this one. This is the S-shape. Okay, so yeah, that means that will be our answer. Because the vertical arrow is simply just pointed towards the right. So it's the same shape but rotated 90 degrees. Okay, 14. So we have a rectangle and a pentagon. So this one we can see that they've put lots of overlapping shapes trying to confuse us. But what we have to look for is simply just the same shape, but it could be rotated. It could be rotated. But remember, the shape cannot be reflected because that makes a different shape. So it must be the same size, same colour, same overlapping, but just rotated, or it could be in the same orientation too. So for 14, we can see that it's not going to be A because this rectangle and pentagon has been reflected. It's not B because the pentagon isn't present, a pentagon of the same size isn't there. It's not C because this pentagon is too low. It's not D because the pentagon's just in the wrong place relative to the rectangle, and the rectangle, it's just wrong. So with E, we can see that the rectangle is there, and then the pentagon is in the right place. So the answer will be E. Okay, next. So next is here, question 15. So we have a triangle with a pentagon at the bottom and an oval in the middle. So in A, we can see the A is a very similar shape. However, this is a prime example of them changing the size. So the size of the triangle is incorrect, as well as the pentagon. You can see them side by side and they are different. So the height is different. And yeah, that's what makes it not our answer. And neither will it be B because there's no black oval. C does have a black oval. And so C. Okay, so question 15 shows, okay, well, firstly we can go through the others. So the size of the black oval in D is incorrect. And in E, the pentagon is too big. C shows our shape. It's the right size for the pentagon, the right size for the oval. Then you can see here there's an outline of a white triangle. However, this is making you really think abstractly. So what's happened here is that the black triangle has overlapped our white triangle. So C is our answer. And then we have 16. So this is another example of overlapping the shape on the left. So there are two white rectangles that are joined by one black line. So for 16, you can see that if it was rotated, it could be A. But then these lines have all been added to confuse you. It's not B, not C because of the length of the line in the middle. It's not D because of the position of the line. And it's not E. So our answer will be A. Next is 17. So we have one rectangle and another that is perpendicular to it. So we can see 17 is going to be A because it's been rotated 180 degrees, or you could even call that a reflection. Although hidden shapes aren't supposed to have reflections, although this one just looks like it. So 18 has a circle with a circle there, and they all overlap. So this one we're going to be looking for a circle of this size first. So we can see the 18 is not going to be A. It could be B with the rotation. Yeah, it will be B. But just checking. Option C, no. Because now we're also looking at two circles that are of this size in the same position. So it's not going to be D, and neither will it be E. So yeah, the answer will be B. Next, we have a white rectangle and a parallelogram that is overlapping it. So with 19, we can cross out A because the parallelogram is reflected. It could be B with the rectangle rotated. For C, it's not going to be C because of the size of the parallelogram. It's not going to be D because the parallelogram isn't overlapping it, and it won't be E for the same reason. So it's B. Next is 20. So we have one line here, 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 and then there. So we're just looking for the exact same shape with the same overlapping, the same position. So here we can see that in A, it's not going to be the answer. And then B, so how we're doing this is I'm looking for one line and seeing the lines that will be next to it. So for example, I'm looking for this long line here. So 20 is not going to be B because there's no line like that. For C, so I'll just cross this out. So the answer is going to be C. Okay, so this line here is going to be this one. The one here is going to be this one. And the one here is this one. And the one here is this one. So this one has been added to throw you off. And that's our answer, C. So 21 we have is square, square, and rectangle. Same thing, we're just looking at one shape and then seeing if the other shape, so then this square is in the bottom right. So we're just looking for that. So we're looking at one and seeing if the other shape is where we want it to be. So if our first square here in the top left is going to be in A, we could say first it would be, we could say it's this one, and then there'll be this. Oh, that's our answer. So A is going to be the answer because this, well, actually it's a rectangle, is this one, and it's been rotated 90 degrees clockwise. So then the square is in the bottom left of it, and then the rectangle is beneath it. So the answer to 21 is A. So 21 is A. Next, we are looking at question word pairs and number series. So here we can see that tissues and issues is then bridge and ridges and stable. Okay, so word pairs means that, well, I'll just read out the explanation. So there are 3 pairs of words. You must complete the third pair in the same way as the first 2 pairs. So, for example, shout and shot, you're removing the U. Solder and soul, you're removing the R. Fluted and then something. So you can see here the method that takes place. With shout to shot, you're removing the U, so the 4th letter. From solder to soul, you're removing the 4th and 6th letter. And with fluted, you're removing the 4th and 6th letter. So now we're looking at tissue and issues. So tissue and issues. So the first thing we're going to look at is what has changed. So you can see here that with tissues to issues, it's removing the first letter to T, and then taking issue, and then it's adding an S. With bridges to ridges, it's removing the first letter B, taking ridge, and then adding S. So in this table, we're going to remove the first letter S, and then add an S to the end. So the answer will be tables. Tables. And then banana and nan, career and settle and something. So with banana and nan, it could be taking the 3rd, 4th, and 5th letters. With career and okay, so this is where we then see what it's doing. So it's taking the 4th and 5th letters and then adding the 3rd. With banana, it's taking the 4th and 5th, or it's taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it's taking the last 2 letters and then adding the 3rd. So nan or So with settle, we're going to be taking the last 2 letters, L and E, and then adding the 3rd, T. So it'll be let. Next is letters and rest. So letters and rest, well, first we could be saying that it's taking the second to last letter, and then it's adding an E, so that could be the second or the 3rd to last letter. Then it's adding the last letter, and then it's adding a T. With gutters and rust, it's taking the second to last letter, and then the second letter, then the last letter, and then the same thing. We can say that it's taking the 4th letter then, or we could even call that the 3rd. Okay, so how we're going to do this is first we're going to take the second to last letter of baskets, so T. Then we're going to be taking the second letter, A. Then the last, S. And then we'll take the fourth one, which is K. So the answer will be task, T-A-S-K. Next is feature, turf, thrift, rift, and then define and something. So future is taking the T-U-R, then the F. Thrift is taking the R-I-F, and then the T. So it's taking the third, fourth, and fifth letter, and then adding the first letter. So defined, well, what we're going to have is then F-I-N, so the third, fourth, and fifth letter, and then the first letter, D. Next is draw and ward, so it's just reversing the words. Part and trap is also reversed, which confirms what we're doing, so this one is going to be star. Next is question 6. So we have rights, sites, rights and site. So taking the last letter, then the second, then the third, fourth, and fifth. Balls and calls. Balls and cool. Well, the C doesn't seem to be coming from anywhere. This may be a question error with this one, because the C doesn't come from anywhere, but we can see that the ALL is also there. So how we're going to do this is we are just going to take our last letter of light. Okay. So rights, site, balls, cool. So, I see. So what it's taking is the letter in front. So after B is C, after R is S, and then it's adding on the third, fourth, fifth, and then it's adding on the second, third, fourth, fifth letters. So second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay, so how we're going to find our answer is, well, after L is M in the alphabet, and then we add on our second, third, fourth, and fifth words, and that gives us might. Next is 7. So repeat and tape, valley and yell, and then we have spiral and our answer. So repeat is taking the last letter, and then it's adding the penultimate one, then the third, and then either the second or the fourth. Yell is taking the last, then the second, so that's the same. And then it's also taking the third, and then it's taking the fourth. So that confirms our pattern. So with spiral, our last letter is going to be L, and then it's going to be A, then I, and then R. So the answer is le. Then 8. So we have decide and dice, breezer and beer. So here we can see it goes D-I-C-E. So the first, then the fourth, third, and then second. So breezer is going the first, fourth, third, second. So this will be S-O-R-T, and the answer will be sort. Next is question 9. So there's dribble and bile, and then there's bramble, bale, and then whistle and something. So with bramble and bale, for example, it will be the first, third, and then the last two letters. With dribble and bile, this is slightly different. Okay, so this confirms how we're going to find the answer. So our B comes from the fourth or the fifth letter, and then it's the third, and then the last two. So bramble is the last one, then the third, and then the last two letters. So here we're going to be taking our third to last letter. So for whistle, that's going to be T. Then it will be I-L-E. So tile. Then for 10, we have asleep and pale, haunts and shun, instill and something. So asleep and pale, it's going to be last letter, then the first, then the third, and then either the fourth or the fifth. For haunts and shun, it's taking the last, first, and then the third, and then the fourth. So that's the order. So for instill, that will give us the answer of L-I-S-T. It's a list. Next is 11. So bottle, lot, middle, lid, toggle, and then something. Our answer. So here we have bottle and lot. So it's taking the second to last letter, then the second, and then either the third or the fourth. For middle and lid, it is taking the either third or fourth letter. Oh no, it's taking the second to last letter, then the second, and it's taking either the third or the fourth. And then we can see if that pattern repeats, it'll be log. L-O and then G. Dotted is taking dots on the first three letters. Metal, okay, so it's taking the last letter, then the second, and then the third. Metal to let is taking the last letter, and then the second, and then the third. So here we'll have dim. The last letter, and then the second, and then the third. So 13, dented to dent. Well, this could be a similar pattern. So with tall and forest, we can see it's taking the last letter, and then the second, third, and fourth. Dented, it's taking the last letter, second, third, and fourth to make dent. So we'll have D-U-N-G, dung. And this is where vocabulary can become important in VR, because knowing that dung is a word, although it may be a little informal, it's important to know that so that you're still confident in your answer. So, as always, practice your vocabulary. So, 14, we have denote and teen, and then handle and lee, and then galore, and then our answer. So, denote and teen, we are taking the second to last letter, and then either the last or the second. So we could be saying it's taking the last, and then the second one, and then it's taking the third letter. Handle and lean, it's doing the same thing. So the second to last letter, and then the last one, then the second letter, and then the third. So for glore, it will be R-E-A-L. So the answer will be real. So the answer for this is real. Next, we are going to move on to page 6, number series. So this is exactly the same as sequences in maths. There may be more abstract thinking, or less mathematical processes, but this one really is the same thing. So you could say this one is more of a pattern than a sequence. So how we're going to do it is we're going to be finding the difference between the numbers. So from 44 to 22, it's dividing by 2. So we'll write that down. You could also write minus 22, but then you just have to look ahead very quickly to identify the patterns, and we can see both 44 can divide by 2 to get 22, and 30 can divide by 2 to get 15. And then 22 to 30, we could say plus 8. However, 15 to 96 is also there. So, more importantly, we can see that the pattern is repeating. So all we can do is then 96 divided by 2. So that will give our answer 96 divided by 2. I'll do it in column method to explain. So there, and then we have 48. So 25 to 28 is plus 3. 28 to 34 is plus 6. 34 to 46 is plus 12. Okay, and then 46 to 70 is plus 24. So we can see that the addition is multiplied by 2 each time. So 24 times 2 is going to be 48. So then 70 plus 48 is going to be 118. Next we have 227, 172, 128, 95 and 73. So what we're going to look for first with this one is we're going to be looking at the subtraction. So 227 and 172. So 227 minus 172 gives us 55. 172 and 128 is 44. And here we're beginning to see a pattern. 128 and 95 is 33. And then 95 is 73 is 22. So then what we're going to do is 73. Well, I'll just add minus. So 73 minus 11 is going to be 62. Okay, I'll just clear a bit of space. And then we have 3,000, 2,501, 2002, 1,503, and then 1,004. So do not let the big numbers intimidate you. We're going to be finding the difference between each of the numbers. So 3,000 minus 2,501 is 499. So subtracting 499. And then that is the same here for 2002 to 1,503. It's the same. And between 1,503 and 1,004, it's also the same. So we're going to be doing 1,004 minus 499. So it's the exact same thing as subtraction with the column method with our smaller numbers. We simply take the 10 and then carry over our 1. So then 14 minus 9 is 5, 9 minus 9 is 0, and 9 minus 4 is 5. So the answer will be 505. Then 281 and 137. So that is going to be a subtraction. So yeah, 281 minus 137 is a subtraction of 144. 137 to 65 is a subtraction of 72. And then 65 to 29 is 36. So here we can see the subtraction is dividing by 2 each time. And then 29 and 11 is 18. So we're going to be doing 11 minus 9. So 11 minus 9 is 2. I hope you can do that in your head as well. So that'll be 2. And then question 6. So 1,007. And then we're going to 503, 251, 125, and then 62. So this one is going to be so it's subtracted by 1 and then divided by 2. So 1,007, I'll just write this down as an example. 1,007 minus 1 is 1,006. And 1,006 divided by 2 is equal to 503. And that repeats. So we're going to be doing 62 minus 1 is 61. And then 61 divided by 2, so 3. And then we have our 1, so we put our 0. Then it's going to be 0 there, decimal place there, and then 5. So it will be 30.5. Okay, 7. So we have 84 to 75, which is a difference of 9. 75 and 64, which is a difference of 11. 64 and 51 is a difference of 13. And then 51 and 36 is a difference of 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to be taking, we'll be minusing, or we'll have a subtraction of 17. So 36 minus 17. So 2, 1, and then 3, and then 9, and then 1. So the answer to question 7 is going to be 19. 19. Then question 8. So we have 138, 108, 82, 60, and 42. So this is a subtraction of 30. And then from 108 to 82, we have a subtraction of 26. For 82 to 60, it's a subtraction of 22. And then for 60 to 42, it's a subtraction of 18. So we can see the subtraction has a difference of 4 each time. So it's going to be a subtraction of 42 minus 14. So 42 minus 14 is the same thing. So we have 6 and then 8. And then 2. So the answer for question 8 is going to be 28. Next is question 9. So 50 to 20 is minus 30. 20 to 22 is plus 22. So I'll be writing this down. And then 42 to 12 is minus 30. And then 12 to 24. Well, 12 plus 22 is... 12 plus 22 is 34. So it's a pattern, and we'll be doing 34 minus 30, which is 4. So that'll be our answer. Next is 57 to 19. So 57 to 19 is minus 38. For 19 to 75, it's going to be an addition of 56. 75 to 25 is a subtraction of 50. 25 to 102 is going to be 77. Okay. So this one isn't going to be a subtraction. This one is going to be slightly different. So what we can look at first is... so 57 divided by 3 is 19, and 75 divided by 3 is 25. So we could expect a pattern of 102 divided by 3. So 102 divided by 3, well, how we're going to do that is just the bus stop method. So 102 divided by 3, so there's 3, remain to 1, so 34. Okay. Proofreading. So, the young girls' parents were extremely proud of their daughter. So, this one, we know that the punctuation or capital letter error is going to be in punctuation because they are referring to only one daughter here, and the apostrophe is after the S, but it should be before the S. So, the young girls' parents were extremely proud of their daughter. They are only referring to one girl. Next is 2. So not only had Sarah should be capital S because it's a name, achieved full marks on her exam results, she had also won a gold medal for sport. On Friday, the teacher the head teacher told the class, "You will." So for 3, this is going to be, well, Friday should have a capital F. So on Friday, the head teacher told the class, "You all need to work harder to keep up." So after up, you need speech marks because it's dialogue. Sarah was mortified. She decided at once to start doing badly in her tests so that her friends would like her again. So this one, you have to remove the comma, so that her friends would like her again. 6. By January, Sarah was worst in the class and thrilled by this. So this is removing the comma again. So and thrilled by this. Her parents were less pleased, and there should be a full stop after that, because then it's a capital T in they decided to give their daughter a serious lecture. Okay, next we move on to punctuation or capital letter errors in the passage. So 8. Every winter, Victor goes with his cousin Jane, who lives on a farm in Wales. This one is what you need a full stop after the bracket. And then 9. He always dreads these visits, semicolon. He thinks the countryside's boring and the animals, well, this one is... He always dreads these visits. So 9 so instead of a semicolon, you can have a colon because the clause is much longer. And the animals make him nervous. He would much rather be at home watching TV in his room. 10 has no mistakes with this one. And then 11. Crisp snow crunches underfoot as Victor trudges slowly to James's house. So this one is, the apostrophe should be after the E rather than after the S. Jane's house. So rather than there being James's house, James is not a plural, you're just saying Jane's house. Next, 12. Oh well, he thinks. At least I'll be able to make a snowman this year. Well, because oh well is only half of the dialogue, there needs to be a comma there. So oh well, comma, close speech mark. He thinks, at least I'll be able to make a snowman this year. Okay, 13. So now we have to, it's asking, which of the sentences below uses commas correctly? And then tick the box next to the correct answer. So we're ticking the one where commas are used correctly. So the lorry, which was speeding, crashed, comma into the barrier. So it's not that, because there shouldn't be a comma after crashed. B, Miss Oren liked to draw, paint, read, and run in her free time. Well, there shouldn't be a comma after run, so that's incorrect. C, yesterday, before drawing the picture, Mandy sharpened her pencils. This can be correct, yep. D, get out of the way, shouted James as he ran down the street. So there shouldn't be a comma after ran. So that leaves us with C. So the answer to 13 will be C. Alright, next is best word. Okay, question 1. So, something Derek did not manage to catch the train. He would have to walk home. So this is if Derek did not manage to catch the train, he would have to walk home. Alright, next is 2. We'll begin something, so please ensure you arrive on time. So we will begin promptly. So promptly means they'll begin very soon. They'll begin on time. So please ensure you arrive on time. 3. Mitch something against the wall and flicked his fingers through his hair. So this will be, Mitch leaned against the wall. No. Mitch leant across the wall. Against the wall. No. No, it could be. And then lent. Well, that's incorrect spelling. Mitch leaning against the wall. No, because it's past tense. Mitch been lent. No, so it'll be Mitch leant against the wall. So Mitch leant against the wall. Mitch leant against the wall and flicked his fingers through his hair. Okay, next is then question 4. So the young father was determined to provide something his family. So this will be provide for his family. Question 5. Few something, the remaining passengers, were awake at the time. So few of the remaining passengers, so OF. Few of the remaining passengers, so few of the remaining passengers were awake at the time. 6. The delighted boy was informed that he could choose something toy he wanted. So it's not going to be whoever because that's a person. Whatsoever just is grammatically incorrect. Whichever could make sense. Whither would not make sense. And whomever is also referring to a person. So this will be whichever. So the delighted boy was informed that he could choose whichever toy he wanted. 7. The quicker you finish your homework, the something you can go out and play. So this would be the most early, no. Most earlier, no. Earliest, no. Earlier could make sense. Early, the early you can go and play, no. So this would be the quicker you finish your homework, the earlier you can go out and play. So next we have best word for the small passage. So Zoe ran something of her room. So Zoe ran out of her room. The doorbell had rung and she something it would be her friend arriving for a sleepover. So this will be the doorbell rung and she knew, Knew, it would be her friend arriving for a sleepover. She something wait for it all to begin. So she couldn't wait for it to all begin. She couldn't wait for all the fun to begin. So couldn't. Next is 11, so best word for the passage again. Ollie and Russ, something, discussing the concert they'd both attended. So Ollie and Russ were discussing the concert they'd both attended. Something night before, so this will be the night before. They agreed that the band had been fantastic. Something, the show had been disappointingly short. So this will be like a contrasting word. So not because, despite the show, it could be if, note, before, note. So between although and despite. They agreed that the band had been fantastic despite the show. So grammatically, although would make sense in this because it's saying the show had been disappointingly short. So it'll be although. Okay, 14. So Ollie had something himself atop with the band's logo on it. So Ollie had buying, no. Ollie had paid himself, no. Ollie had bought himself, could be that. Ollie had buy himself, no. Find himself, no. So this will be bought. So Ollie had bought himself a top with the band's logo on it. And next is spelling mistakes. Okay. So with this one, we have, okay. Charlotte Bronte was a Victorian novelist. Jane Eyre, which is believed to be one of her best novels, has been referred to as a work of genius. Well, this one is believed. So believed should have an I before the second E. So BELIEVED. So believed. And next is question 2. When Mrs. Taylor walked into the lounge, she observed the new throw that had been casually draped over the settee. Well, this one is draped. Draped should be spelt with one P, draped. And then next, question 3. Look at the amount of presents I received for my birthday. Aren't I lucky? This one will be received. So receive should be spelled as RECEIVED. So rather than having IE, it should be EI. And that's a very common mistake. So RECEIVED. Then next is question 4. So Jeff was concerned when he saw the traffic jam, particularly as he was giving a presentation at 9 o'clock at the 9 o'clock meeting. So 4 is presentation. So it should be spelled PRESENTATION. So presentation. So rather than the U, it should be replaced with an E. Presentation. And then question 5. So my mum found an article about famine in Africa so upsetting that it motivated her to host a fundraising event. Well, this is upsetting, so it should be double T, so UPSETTING. Okay, next is question 6. After attending her first week at secondary school, Josie determined that her favourite subjects were English, science, and geography. Well, 6 is going to be attending. So attending should have double T. So not like upsetting with that one. And then 7. Stuart encouraged his children to take part in numerous sports because he thought different games would help them to understand the importance of exercise, discipline, and having fun. Well, numerous. So numerous should be spelled as Numerous. So Numerous. And then 8. Steve had a passion for drawing. Cartoon characters were his speciality. So 8 is speciality. So it should be spelled as Speciality. So speciality. So Speciality. And then 9. Molly's mum was flabbergasted when a talent scout approached her to ask if Molly would be able to audition for a singing contest. This one is... Molly's mum was flabbergasted. Approached should be spelled with 2 P's. So approached here should have a double P. So approached her to ask if Molly would be available to audition for a singing contest. And then 10. So Mr. Novak remarked on how extraordinary it was that most of the classes had obtained the same score on the literacy test. This one is extraordinary, and it should be spelt as EXTRA, ordinary. So extraordinary. And then we have to give the correct spelling. So Grace passionately should be spelled PASSIONATELY. So that is going to be the second one. So PASSIONATELY. PASSIONATELY. So Grace passionately adores the theatre. And endeavours, so endeavours should be ENDEAVOURS. So that is ENDEAVOURS. So that's here. And then she also practices, endeavours to see a show every weekend. She also practices her acting whenever she can. So this will be practices, so it should be spelled with 2 C's. So PRACTICES. So practices here. Practices acting whenever. So practices. Okay. So that is that. And then her favourite playwright is Shakespeare. Well, playwright here is going to be... playwright is spelled PLAYWRIGHT. So PLAYWRIGHT, which is here. She especially enjoys his comedies, even though some people say they are dated. So this one will be especially ESPECIALLY. So especially here, ESPECIALLY. And then 16. So even though some people say they're dated, and irrelevant. So IRRELEVANT. That will be IRELEVANT here. So here, irrelevant. Okay, and next we have kamikaze. So first we're going to read it. So her father embarked at sunrise. With a flask of water, a samurai sword in the cockpit, a shaven head full of powerful incantations, and enough fuel for a one-way journey into history. But halfway there, she thought, recounting it later to her children, he must have looked far down at the little fishing boats, strung out like bunting, on a green-blue translucent sea. And beneath them, arcing in the swathes like a huge flag, waved first one way and then the other in a huge figure of 8, the dark shoals of fishes, flashing silver as their bellies swiveled towards the sun. And remembered how he and his brothers, waiting on the shore, built cairns of pearl grey pebbles to see whose withstood longest the turbulent inrush of breakers, bringing their father's boat safe. Yes, grandfather's boat, safe to the shore, salt-sodden, awash with cloud-marked mackerel, black crabs, feathery prawns, the loose silver of a whitebait, and once a tuna, the dark prince, muscular, dangerous, and though he came back, my mother never spoke again. In his presence, nor did she meet his eyes. And the neighbours too. They treated him as though he no longer existed. Only we children still chatted and laughed, till gradually we too learned to be silent, to live as though he had never returned. That this was no longer the father we loved. And sometimes, she said, we must have wondered what had been the better way to die. So now we read the first question. What does the word embarked most likely mean in the context of the poem? Well, if you're embarking, you're not ending a journey. Starting a journey, yeah. Cancelling a trip, no. Facing dilemma, well, here embarked to sunrise, well, he's getting on the plane, so no. And continuing a mission, well, he's starting one, so this one will be B. And next, what is suggested by the phrase powerful incantations? Well, here we can see that powerful incantations is here in the first paragraph. So a shaven head full of powerful incantations and enough fuel for a one-way journey into history. So powerful incantations, A, magical spells, B, logical arguments, C, technical instructions, D, military commands, E, motivational speeches. Well, first we need to think about what an incantation actually is. So an incantation means, well, it's like part of a magic spell. But this one's not going to actually be like a magic spell. So it's not A. And then B, logical arguments, no. C, technical instructions, it could be that. Military commands, it could be that too. Motivational speeches, no. Although you could say that that's what he's been told. Actually, yeah. Because he's been told to fly into his destination and not return, because he's a kamikaze fighter. So what you got to remember is this one, powerful incantations. Well, yeah, this one is not going to be a motivational speech necessarily, and not technical instructions. So military commands is what we're going to say with this one. And then 3. So the comparison of fishing boats to bunting is an example of A, simile, B, metaphor, C, personification, D, hyperbole, or E, onomatopoeia. So we can see that they talk about the bunting. Oh, let's open this again. So the bunting is mentioned. It's mentioned here in paragraph 2. So strung out like bunting. So like is what tells us that it's going to be a simile because it's using the word like. So comparisons with like or as are all simile. So strung out like bunting. So yeah, not metaphor. Not metaphor. Not personification because there's no relation to human features. No hyperbole because there's no exaggeration. no onomatopoeia because it's not used words like bang or smack. So that will be a simile. Next is 4. The phrase "a huge flag waved first one way, then the other" employs which literary device? So irony? No. Metonymy? No. Simile? No. Imagery? Yes. And then illusion? Not really. No, because it's not needing us to infer anything. So D, imagery. And then what is the overall tone of the poem? So A, joyful. Not really, no. B, nostalgic to some extent. C, bitter. It is fairly bitter at some points when they discuss the relationship. D, reflective. Yeah, definitely quite reflective. And E, excited. So if we quickly look back, so we have, well, it's not going to be excited. So it's either reflective, nostalgic, or bitter. So both reflective and nostalgic are quite similar. Let's have a look. So, okay. It's not bitter, because there's still some pretty, not bitter, okay. And it's not nostalgic because it's not looking back and reminiscing in a happy way. So it's D, reflective. The writer's thinking about past actions and considering how they feel towards it, like in the current situation. So 6, how does the pilot's turning back symbolise? So A, cowardice, yeah. B, defiance, not really, although it is defiance to the military. C, love for his family, yeah. D, betrayal for his country, yeah. And E, confusion, well, yeah, really, all of these are, to some extent, could be an answer, but in this case, we're looking at what it symbolises. So they're turning back, and you can see what they're talking about before it, which is what we need to know, is he's looking at the fishing boats and thinking of his family, so like his brothers and all of those people. So, because of what we know he was thinking of, it's through that where we can understand the answer. So it's not going to be cowardice or defiance or betrayal of the country, although it is also those things if you look at it from an alternative perspective. But in this case, you need to look at the reason why he's turning back. So you can see the question is giving you other answers, but you're looking for the one that's basically the most correct. So in this case, it will be his love for his family, because he's thinking about the fishing boats and how he used to play there, and he wants to go back so he can be with his family. And that's why 6 will be C. Next is 7. Why might the speaker's mother never speak again in the presence of the pilot? A, she is afraid of him. No. B, she feels ashamed of him. Yeah. C, she respects his silence. No. D, she's disappointed. Yeah. E, she's mourning his loss. No. So this will be either ashamed or disappointed. So these are both very, very similar. If we look back at what it says about her not speaking, you can see, and although he came back, she never spoke to him again. She never met eyes, and they treated him as though he no longer existed. So with this one, question 7, it will be either ashamed or disappointed. So we are going to, 7 is going to be, But it's more that she feels ashamed of him because she doesn't feel very proud. She's not just disappointed. She also no longer feels proud of him, so she doesn't talk to him. So 7 is B. Okay. Next is 8. So what is the significance of the fishing imagery in the poem? A, it contrasts the simplicity of life with the complexity of war. B, it highlights the beauty of nature. No. C, it represents the pilot's lost dreams. No. D, it depicts the everyday life of fishermen. No. E, it serves as a distraction from the war. No. So A, it contrasts the simplicity of life with the complexity of war. So you can see how that is said here, where they're talking about the beauty of the fish. So here. Okay, so yeah, here it's saying, yeah. So there's the simplicity of the fish. Or actually, hang on. Let's rethink this actually. So it could highlight the beauty of nature, but not quite. And yet it does serve a distraction from the war. Yes, okay. So yeah, no. And then it's not going to be beauty of nature. Not lost dreams. Not D. And yeah, E. So it serves as a distraction of the war. That is its purpose. That's its significance. So 9. How does the poet depict the reactions of the neighbours? So A, with sympathy and support. No. Because they also shut him out. B, with anger and hostility. No. Not anger. C, indifference and apathy. No. D, confusion and curiosity. No. Coldness and ostracism. This is probably the best one. Ostracism meaning exclusion and rejection. So when they don't talk to him, this is ostracism. So that'll be E. Alright. 10. What is suggested by the phrase which had been the better way to die? So A, the pilot regrets his return. B, the pilot is proud of his decision. No. C, the pilot is unsure of his future. No. D, the pilot's family wishes he had died. Maybe. E, the pilot questions the value of his life. Yeah. So this one, it's basically saying whether he should have died and been honoured, or if he should have turned back and now live a life where he is ostracised and just rejected by everyone around him. It's as if he is dead almost. So this one, well, we need to look at who is saying it. So, and sometimes she said he must have wondered which had been the better way to die. So this is the pilot considering whether he should have killed himself or turned home, and he may just have regretted turning home. So with that, it's not necessarily E because that's a great inference. And then with D, the family wishes he had died. Well, no, because it's the pilot saying it. So it'll be A. The pilot regrets his return. He must, think, if he died, he would be honoured even more than his, in, even being alive. He's not even being, loved, you could say. So, 11. What can be inferred from the pilot's state of mind as he looked at the sea? A, he was determined to complete his mission. Well, no. B, he was nostalgic of his childhood, yeah, because he's thinking of the brothers and stacking the stones on top of each other. C, he was contemplating the beauty of nature, no. He was thinking about his family, maybe. Planning escape, no. So here we can see the state of mind. Well, he was thinking of family, but he was also nostalgic of his childhood. So let's go back. You can see he talks about his brothers. He talks about grandfather's boat. So you can talk about yeah. So for this one, for question 11, this one, well, he is nostalgic for his childhood, but not necessarily. It's also he was thinking about his family. And although it is slightly more general, that is what makes 11 the answer to 11D. So 12. Why does the poet describe the sea as green, blue, translucent? A, to emphasize its beauty. B, to show its vastness. C, to contrast the dark shoals of the fishes. D, to reflect the pilot's emotions. E, to depict its danger. So it could be A, not B, not C, not D, not E. So it would be to emphasize the beauty. Green, blue, translucent is a very beautiful imagery. So 13. What effect does the use of direct speech have in the poem? A, it makes the poem more personal and immediate, yeah. It adds formal tone, no. It distances the reader from the event, no. D, it creates a sense of historical accuracy, yeah, but yeah. Okay, and then E, it adds an element of surprise, no. So the answer to this one will be A. It makes it much more personal and intimate because it's like she's talking to someone she knows. So, comprehension, the evolution of schools. So, let's read the passage. 200 years ago, schools were held in log cabins, huts, or rented rooms. Some places had no schools at all. The one-room schoolhouse predominated. Classrooms consisted of students from a wide range of ages, and teachers had to teach all of these students simultaneously. For the most part, the curriculum consisted of reading, writing fundamentals, and life skills. Depending on the location and the farming schedule, some schools only lasted a few months in order for the students to be able to work in agriculture. Attendance in schools was generally sporadic, with some students in extremely rural areas not attending school at all. It was not uncommon for a given student to show up for classes only one day a week, and even that day would vary. As populations grew, so did the schools. Industrialization introduced factories, technology, and new jobs. People needed to learn about these things in order to keep up. New schools were designed to better accommodate the changing world. Larger classrooms, more teachers, and changes in the content taught were essential to successfully adapting to this shift. Population growth also introduced more students to schools. This made it necessary for classrooms to be separated by age and ability level. This meant teachers were able to specialize in the areas and ages they taught. Population growth resulted in the growth of schools and major changes in the way that students were educated. So question 1. According to the passage, the curriculum of early schools was based on maths, reading, and life skills. Well, this one, we know that they said that it was reading, life skills, and something else. It was reading, writing fundamentals, and life skills. So here it's not maths, so it's going to be, so question 1 is going to be C. 2 and 3 only, which is reading and life skills. And then 2, As used in paragraph 1, the word simultaneously most nearly means A, rapidly, B, informal, C, separate, or D, together, while simultaneously means together. So 3. Near the end of paragraph 1, we learn that attendance in schools was generally sporadic. As used in paragraph 1, which of the following statements also describes something sporadic? So A. The weather in Seatown follows an irregular pattern. One day it might snow, the next day it might be sunny. B. Angelica brushes her hair every night before bed without fail. C. Iceberg lettuce generally lives 65 to 130 days from planting to harvesting. This follows the standard lifespan of staple legumes. D. A mere 30 out of 100 applications are accepted to the prestigious university every year. So with this one, well, we know sporadic is something that's very irregular and it's very random. So when it happens, will be random. So that means that 3 will be A. So 1 is C, 2 is D, and 3 is A. Okay, 4. Which of the following accurately describes the relationship between the first and second paragraphs? So A, paragraph 1 describes how low school attendance used to be how low school attendance used to be, while paragraph 2 describes how attendance has risen over time. Okay? B, paragraph 1 describes how primitive schools used to be, while paragraph 2 describes how schools have begun to use technology. Or C, paragraph 1 describes how undeveloped schools used to be, whilst paragraph 2 describes how schools were made to improve. Or D, paragraph 1 describes how schools used to be poor, while paragraph 2 describes how schools have become profitable. Well, 4 is, it's not going to be D because it doesn't discuss the profitability. It's not going to be A because it's not just talking about attendance. And this is looking at the relationship between the two paragraphs. And then B looks at the use of technology and how primitive it was. So it will be C because it's talking about how undeveloped it was in the past, and then it's contrasting it to how now, like there's many ways that schools have improved with more specialized teaching and things like that. So, what part of the word evolution, as used in the title, the evolution of schools? What part of speech is the word evolution, as used in the title, the evolution of schools? So A, a noun, B, an adjective, C, a verb, or D, an adverb. Well, it's a noun, so the evolution of schools. So next we move on to here. So question 6. The main point of the passage is A, what schools were like 200 years ago, B, how schools have changed over time due to factors such as population, C, what subjects teachers teach in school, D, to show that the origin of school was a hut. Well, this one is going to be B, how schools have changed over time due to factors such as population. Okay, next is outdoor sites. So this one, okay. Do your parents ever tell you to go outside and get some fresh air? This is probably because being outside is great for your health. Outdoor activities such as running and climbing make your lungs, heart, and muscles work harder and grow stronger. What is more, sunlight makes your body produce more vitamin D, which helps fight off disease. While these benefits are certainly valuable, a lesser known benefit involves your eyesight. Research shows that spending time outdoors may actually help you see better. 2 studies have shown that kids who spend more time outdoors are less likely to develop poor eyesight or become myopic. Someone who is myopic or nearsighted has trouble seeing faraway objects and reading distant words. Both studies found that the kids who spend the most time indoors are the most myopic, even if they play lots of indoor sports. The studies also found that the kids who spend the most time outdoors are least myopic, even if they do a lot of near vision work, such as reading. Researchers disagree about why kids who spend more time outdoors are less nearsighted. Some think spending time outdoors gives them more opportunities to look into the distance. Others think that the brightness of the outdoor light causes their eyes to contract, widening the range in which objects look clear to them. Researchers have also noticed that myopic eyes are longer than normal ones, and that strong light restricts eye growth. They conclude that the strength of the outdoor light may slow down the growth of the eyes, reducing their chance of becoming myopic. Nobody is sure how, or even if, spending more time outdoors can improve your vision. But scientists and doctors do know that outdoor exercise is good for your body. So go outside and be active whenever you can. Your muscles, heart, and lungs will grow stronger. You'll get sick less often, and you may even be able to see farther into the distance. So, question 1. According to the passage, sunlight helps your body by A. Enhancing the colour of your skin. No. B. Reducing the amount of time spent indoors. C. Improving its ability to perform photosynthesis. D. Increasing its production of vitamin D. Well, we know that question 1 isn't B as well because, well, sunlight helps your body by reducing the amount of time spent indoors. No. So it's going to be increasing its production of vitamin D. Okay, 2. The author of this passage is most interested in explaining how A. Kids become myopic, B. Outdoor exercise can improve your health, C. Being outside reduces myopia, D. How fun it is to exercise outdoors. Well, this one is, they're not most interested in kids becoming myopic, and neither are they most interested in outdoor exercise or exercising indoors. So they're most interested in explaining how being outdoors reduces myopia. So it's like how they said it could be by looking at things in the distance, which means that you become less myopic, because myopic is when when you're short-sighted and you can only see near objects. Or they say that it's because of the strong light causes your eyes to contract, so you can see a wider range of distances or a wider range of objects clearly. And then 3, or a wider range of objects at different distances clearly. So then 3. In this passage, we learn about the likelihood of becoming myopic. Based on the information presented in the passage, which of the following persons suffers from myopia? So remember, myopia is when you can only see near objects, so when you're short-sighted. Sarah, who has trouble seeing the animals on a safari. Tony, who has trouble seeing the text of a book. Mika, who has trouble seeing objects when playing with Lego. Or Benito, who has trouble seeing his 11 plus maths homework. So 3 is going to be A, because Sarah can't read let's just check back. So myopia is when you're nearsighted. And you can't see objects far away. So yeah, you're short-sighted, so you can't see objects that are far away. So reading a book is something close to you. Same with Lego and also your homework. So it's going to be safari because it's far away. And if you're short-sighted, you can't see things that are far away. So things like animals on a safari. So 4. 4 is, it can be understood that the two studies discussed in paragraph 2 produced A, opposite conclusions, B, different conclusions, C, similar conclusions, or D, the same conclusions. So 4 is going to be D, the same conclusions. 5. Using the information in paragraph 3, it can be understood that spending more time outside may improve a child's ability to see things that are far away by 1. Giving him or her more opportunities to look into the distance. Yeah. 2. Causing his or her eyes to contract. Yeah. 3. Restricting his or her eye growth. Yeah. So question 5 is going to be D. 1, 2, and 3. So 6. Which of the following best summarizes the conclusion of this passage? A. There is no relationship between time spent outdoors and the chance of becoming myopic, but going outdoors certainly helps the body in other ways. B. There may be a relation. It's either that there's no relationship between being outdoors and becoming myopic, or there may be a relationship, or there's a strong relationship, or a direct relationship. So question 6 is going to be B, because it's saying that there may be a relationship between time spent outdoors and the chance of becoming myopic. But going outdoors certainly helps the body in other ways. Better mistakes. And now 10. So area, perimeter, and volume. Okay, so what's the area of the triangle below? Diagram not to scale. So the area of the triangle is half times the base times the height. So we're going to be doing half times by 16 times 5.5. So what we do first is 16 times 5.5. I'll just use the space here. So 16, 5.5. Oh no, that's not a good space. I'll do it down here. So 6 times 5 is 30. 5 times 5 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. Then we add on the 0. 6 times 5 is 30. 1 times 5 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. So 880. And then what we have to do is take the 880, and because it's half, we then just halve it. So the answer is going to be... first we add on the decimal place. So it will be 88, and then we halve it. So we take 88, divide it by 2. So it will be 44, which leaves our answer as E. But before that, I'll just clear out the space. The answer to question 1 is E, because we do half times the base of the triangle times by the height. Next is question 2. A square has a perimeter of 96 centimeters. So then we have to calculate the length of one side. So a square has 4 sides. I'll just redraw this. So the square has 4 sides. So this is going to add up to 96. So these are all equal. So all we have to do is 96 and divide it by 4. So we take 96 and divide by 4. So how many 4s in 9? 2, remainder 1, 4. So the length of one side is going to be 24. Next, the area of the square. So the area will just be 24 times by 24. So this can just be done through column multiplication. So 4 times 4 is 6, and then 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and then 0, and then you add these. So it's going to be 4 times 2 is 8, 2 times 2 is 4. So you then have 6 here, 7 here, 1, and then 5. So the answer is going to be 576. And don't forget your units. So the length of one side is going to be 24 meters. Oh, no, it's going to be 24 centimeters. Just checking. Okay. And then the area is going to be 570 centimeters squared. Okay, next we have every x labelled on the shape below has the same value. So, the value of the x doesn't change. Then, if the area of the shape is 88 centimeters squared, what's the perimeter? So what we have to do here is take the information that we know. So how we can find the perimeter is by understanding the length of A, so the value of A. So the first thing we could do is divide our shape. So what we know is we can divide the shape here. Then we know this is 2 centimeters, and then we know it needs to add up to 88. So first we have the length of 9 and then x. So this is like 9x. This is going to be 2x because that's how you find the area. The length multiplied by the width. So we know that 9x plus 2x is going to be our 11x, and then that must equal to 88. So if 11x is 88, x is going to be 88 divided by 11, which is 8. So we know that x is equal to 8 centimeters. So the perimeter is basically going to be 9. I'll just label our 8. So, and then I'll just rub this out to make some space. So our perimeter is going to be 9 plus 8. 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 8 plus this 2, and then 16 down below because it's the 8 plus the 8. So 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 8 plus 2 plus 16. So that is going to equal, 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 8 plus 2 plus 16 will equal to 50. So the answer is 50 centimeters. Okay, next is the compound shape is made up of 2 triangles and a right-angled triangle. What fraction of the compound shape's total area is the triangle? Okay, so first we're going to find the total area, and then we're going to find the area of the triangle. So the triangle we know is 12 here and 9, and like earlier we know that it's half base times height, which is equivalent to half of 9 times 12. From your times tables, you know that 9 times 12 is equal to 108. So we're doing 108 divided by 2. So 108 over 2 is going to be 54. So the triangle, which we're just going to note down here, has an area of 54 centimeters squared. So I'll just write that here. T is 54 centimeters squared. Next, we find the area of the other parts. So from your times tables as well, 11 times 12 is 132. 14 times 9, I'll just write this out because it's not in your times tables. But 4 times 9, we know is 36. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 3 is 12, so it's 126. Then what we have to do is 126 plus 132. So 126 plus 132, because this finds, and then we can also add the 54 to find the total area. So 126, 132, and then 54. So that's going to add up to 12 here. And then this part is going to add up to 10, 11, and then 3. So it's going to be 3, 1, 2. So it's going to be 54 over 312 is going to be the fraction. But then we're going to have to simplify. So 54 over 312 is going to simplify. So what we're going to do is we can divide both by 2. So 54 divided by 2 is equal to 27. 312 divided by 2 is 156. And then we have 27. So we can divide both by 3. So that'll be over 52, 27 will become 9. So the answer, will be 9 over 52. Okay, next is, so that was page 10, page 11. Question 5. The diagram below is a scale drawing of a Z-shaped path of area 20 meters squared. What is the area of each individual square? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. So we just divide the 20 by 5, which gives us 4. So that one will be 4 meters squared. And then what's the length of each side of each individual square? So because it's 4 meters squared, we do 4. We're basically finding the square root of 4. So, but we know that 2 times 2 is 4. And 4 squared equals 2. So that means that the answer is going to be 2. So question 5, that second part, the length of each side of each individual square is 2, because we know that 2 times 2 equals 4, and each side of a square has an equal length. And then the perimeter of the path, so that's so each of these is 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you could say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So the answer for that part is going to be 24. Okay, so that's 4, 2, and 24. The unit is going to be 2 meters, 24 meters, and then 6. The area of the two rectangles in the diagram are 25 centimeters squared and 13 centimeters squared as indicated. So what's the value of x? Well, this is problem solving. So what we have to do is find the length of this part, and then using that we add it to 3, and then we do 25 divided by that. So let's call this part y. It's just what we're calling the length. So we have to do 13 over 4 to find the length of y. So 4 times by 3, it leaves us with a remainder of 1. Then 2, remainder 2, so 3.25 is the length of y. Then we have to do 3 plus 3.25, which is 6.25. And then we do 25 divided by that. So 25 divided by 6.25, we could try the bus stop method with this one. We'll just have to do this. Okay, so we have 2,500 divided by 625. So 625 times by 4, I believe. Yeah, so the answer will be 4. Because what we're doing is, we're finding the difference between, we're doing 25 divided by 3 plus y, you could call it. 3 plus y is what we found to be 6.25. So then x is going to be 4. Okay, so next is 7. So Alana has 3 flower beds in her garden. The first 2 shown below have the same area. And then, what are we trying to find? I see what's happened. I wrote the answer in the wrong place. Okay. So this is 4 up here. And then I'll just clear this, just to make it a bit visually easier to read. Okay. So find the value of x. Okay, so we know that half times 80 times 100 must be equal to 50 times x. So first we can do 80 times 100, which is going to be 80, and then we add on 2 zeros, so 8,000, and then we have to find half of it, so we divide by 2, which is equal to 4,000. So this is 4,000 centimeters squared. Then we have to do 4,000 and divide by 50 to find x. So we can cross out the zeros to simplify. And then 5 times something is 4,000. So we know that 5 times 8 is 40. So 5 times 80 is going to be 400. So how many 5s go into 40? Well, there's 8. And then 0. So the answer to question 7 is going to be 80. 80 centimeters. Next is 8. In a school example, the desks are set up with 80 centimeters between them as shown below. If each desk is 1 meter wide and the end desks are put up against the wall, how many desks can fit across a room that is 90 centimeters wide? Okay, so what we have to imagine is one is the length of 3 desks, of 1 desk plus the 80 centimeter gap. So the 1 meter means that, okay, so what we have to do is find the total length. So 1 meter plus 80 centimeters gives us 1.8 meters. We know that we have a length of 19. So what we can do is first is 19 divided by 1.8. So 19 divided by 1.8, well, okay. Okay. So, how we're going to find the answer is okay. So, how are we going to be finding the answer? Well, we're going to be taking the length of 1.8 and basically seeing how many can then fit inside of 19. So, fairly simply, what we can do is take the 19 and then divide by 1.8. So, we'll just multiply it by 10. And then how many 18s go into 19? Well, that's 1, the remainder 1. And then this is going to be a 0. So that's 10. And yeah. So that's 10. But then that's the length of... okay. But then that's going to be the length of... Okay, yes. And then we have 0 there. Okay. Then that's going to be the number of tables plus the 80 centimeter gap. So that's the number of that. Then what we can do is take the 1.8 and multiply by 10, which gives us 18. So because we have the extra gap at the end, it means then we could also add another 1 until it becomes 19, which means that it'll be 10 plus 1 is our answer, which is 11 tables, so 11 desks. Okay, next, 9. A farmer keeps chickens in an enclosure given below. If each chicken requires 3 meters squared, what is the maximum number of chickens that the farmer can keep? So first we have to find the area. So what we can take here is 2 meters here and 2 meters here. So it's going to be half base times height. So half times BH is going to be half times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times, well, half, 0.5, is going to be 2. So that is going to be an area of 2 meters squared. Then here it's going to be 14 times by 8. So 14 times 8, well, 4 times 8 is 32. And then 8 plus 3 is 11. So 112. So we do 114 is the total area. But then it's saying that each unit requires 3 meters squared. So we do 114 divided by 3. So I'll quickly clear out this space. 114 divided by 3 is what we're doing. So 3, remainder 2, and then 8. So the answer is going to be 38 chickens. Okay, let's move on to page 12. So this will be the last one. Yeah. Okay. So Peter is making chocolate bars in the shape of a cuboid. With dimensions is shown below. What is the volume of his chocolate bar? So volume is length times width times height, which is 2 times 5 times 10, which is, well, 2 times 5 is 10, times by 10, which is then 100. So the answer is 100 centimeters cubed. Okay, a factory makes these wooden cubes. They are packaged into large boxes. How many wooden cubes can be packaged into one large box? So you have to find the volume of one wooden cube, and then the volume of the large box, and then you have to do the volume of the large box divided by the volume of the wooden cube. So the wooden cube is going to be 3 times 3 times 3, because the length of each side is the same, so 9 times 3 is then 27, so we have 27 centimeters cubed. Then we have 15 times by 27 times 12. 15 times 27 times 12. Well, first we can do 15 times 27. So 5 times 7 is 35. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. Then we add a 1, and add a 0. 5 times 2 is 10. And then 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Then we add this, and it's going to be 5, 0, and 4, so 405. But then remember, we're then doing 405 times by 12. So 5 times 2 is 0, 1. 0 times 2 is 0, plus 1. And then 4 times 2 is 8. Carry 0, 5, 0, 4. 0, 6, 8, 4. So it's 4,860. So then we're doing 4,860. And you have to divide by 27. So 4,860 divided by 27. So we take out 27. And how many can go into 48? That's 1. And then that leaves us with a remainder of 21. And then 216 divides into 27 8 times, and then 0. So the answer will be 180. Okay. 12. A cube of side 3 centimeters is painted in red. It is then cut into a set of cubes of side 1 centimeter. How many cubes of side 1 centimeter will there be? Well, here we know that there's 1, 2, 3 centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we could count, but we know that there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, so there's 9 on one face. And then there's 3 faces, so it's going to be 9 times 3, which is 27. So the answer to 12 will be 27. Next is 13. A 9 centimeter wide marble just fits inside a cube-shaped box. How many 3 centimeter wide marbles would fit inside the box? So a 9 centimeter wide marble just fits. So how many 3 centimeter wide marbles can fit? Well, because so we know that the box is going to fit 9 centimeters cubed. So say if we draw out the box, a 9 centimeter wide marble is going to take up an area of, well, we know it's 9, so so you have to find the difference of or the scale between 9 centimeters and 3 centimeters, which is 3, and then that's the difference in the scale. So then you take your 9 centimeter marble, and all you have to do is multiply it. So how we're going to find our answer, because we know that the difference is 3, so that one 9 centimeter wide marble has the equivalent width of 3 centimeter marbles. But then 3 centimeter marbles can then also fit another 3. Okay, so it's like the question in 12. This one big marble fits that, but then that can also, I'll draw it in another colour. That could then also fit 1, 2, 3 marbles here, and then another 2 there, 3 here, 3 there, and eventually what you get is, well, you'll have something like this, where you have your 27 marbles basically, because you have, I'll just rub this out, because you have 3 marbles on the width, 3 on the length, and then 3 on the height, which is 27. So the answer will be 27. And then 14. Shown below is a cube of side 5 centimeters. So work out the total surface area of the cube. So here we have to find the surface area of one side, and then multiply it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because there are 6 sides of the cube. So 5 times 5 is 25. And then you do your 25 and multiply it by 6. So 5 times 6 is 30. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 3 is 15. So the answer to question 14 is going to be, 150. Then 15, shown below, is a solid cuboid. Work out the total surface area of the cuboid. So this one we have, the surface area. So we have to find the surface of here, which is the same as there. This face, which is the same as the face at the back, and then the face at the top, which is the same as the face at the bottom. So 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 9 is 18. We also have 3 times 9, which is 27. And then we multiply each of these times by 2. So so we could do 6 times 2 is 12. 18 times 2 is 36, and 27 times 2, 27 times 2 is 54, and then we add all of these, so 12 plus 36 plus 54 will equal to 102, so it will be 102 centimeters squared, and that is the end of this one. So thank you very much for watching. This has been Summer School 8, and I'm Ethan. So I hope you found this helpful. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.